We're talking about calcium. Calcium is a necessary mineral required for all sorts of things in the human body, from bone and teeth health to regular heart rhythms. It's a super important, essential mineral required for life. And normally we can get that from all sorts of things in a variety of things in our diets because we have a really big variety of a diet. We eat all sorts of different things normally. But let's say one day that the grocery stores were shut down and you couldn't just go get the normal stuff. And let's say you were prepared enough and you had stockpiles of rice and beans and all sorts of other things like that. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to have those same varieties of vitamins and minerals in long-term food storage. It's pretty tough, actually. And let's say you're even supplementing your diet with stuff you're growing on the land, your fresh tomatoes and plants and herbs and all of the vitamins and all the other plants that you'd have, like potatoes. And let's say you're even hunting, fishing, things like that. That's all wonderful. I've mentioned salt in previous videos, how important sodium is for the human body and how you can't survive without it. And I've had people in comments say, I've never salted my food in my life. I don't ever add salt to my food and I'm still alive. Yes, but that's because all of the foods, the packaged and processed foods and stuff that you eat have salt added to it. But if you're surviving off rice and beans, your rations that you've got stored in your basement or whatever, those don't have sodium added to it and you're going to be lacking in that department. So it's important to either stockpile things like calcium supplements or learn how to make it yourself. And if you have chickens, if you've got organic, free-range, healthy birds roaming around your property, you have access to a really, really good supply of calcium, and I'm going to show you how to process that right now. These eggshells came from our property, and they came from our chickens, which are free-range and very, very healthy birds. And basically what you do is you take the eggs, the fresh eggs, you crack them, obviously get the eggs, the yolk and white out of the center of the egg, cook them, eat them, whatever you do with them, but save the shells. And then you'll boil these shells so you can kill all the bacteria that might be growing on it, in it, and around it. Make sure you sterilize them really, really well. And then after you've boiled them, you need to dry them out. So you put them on like a cookie sheet, put them in the oven, and let them cook for about 225 degrees for, let's say, 10 to 20 minutes, as long as they get really, really good and dry. And then you're ready to grind them up. We're going to use a coffee grinder best, and we still have electricity because we're not in the Stone Age, we're not in the Dark Ages yet. But if things keep continuing the way they are, we might happen to be without electricity soon. You might resort to something like a mortar and pestle, which is basically a hollowed out bowl and something you can use to grind up the shells manually, but you'll never get it as fine of a powder as you will with something like this. This is going to be fine enough where you can just add it to water and gulp it down and it won't be miserable. But if you're using a mortar and pestle, you're probably going to have bigger chunks and it's going to be a little bit more unpleasant to drink. But if you add it to your foods, if you add it to smoothies, whatever, it'll be a little bit more tolerable. But anyway, what we're going to do is put our eggshells. We'll just do a few right now. There's about 1,000 milligrams of calcium in a teaspoon of this concoction that I just made. I'm getting calcium in my diet on regular, so I don't really require that much. I probably get sufficient amounts in just the foods that I eat, so I'm just going to do a half teaspoon here for demonstration purposes. And again, this would be more pleasant if you mixed it with your like a smoothie or something, but you could down it like this. Alright guys, I hope you found this video informative. Hope you learned something. Thanks so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And there's going to be a link to another video somewhere right about here. Make sure you check those out, and we'll see you on the next one.